Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast.
This isn't two podcasters talking business. This is two business guys trying to podcast.
Hello and welcome back to Alcohol Beyond This Point, the podcast where we debate business topics, both sober and drunk, to see if we come to the same conclusions. My name is Willows.
And my name is Tyler.
And Tyler, I have a surprise for you this episode.
Is it the Kirkland steak strips in
No.
an extra thick jumbo bag?
No, I have a surprise for you.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to reach behind me now.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So I just pulled out on him the one chip challenge, the fucking
Oh my God.
ghost pepper Carolina Reaper chip. So I only have one though, so I was thinking we could split it and see what happens. And I will let you choose.
I was going to say, you want to do this now?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. I was thinking end of the podcast. Right?
Yeah, I'm going to say, you're gonna ruin the podcast.
No.
More for you than for me.
I think the content is going to be better though.
If we...
So I'll let you choose beginning or shot caller we do it. But I think we have to try and talk while we do it, right?
I don't know. Let's. I'd rather we let it sit there and we just dread it for a little while longer.
Okay.
I fucking love this brand of chips. I buy their ghost pepper chips all the time until they got fucking pulled off the shelves of our local grocery store because they probably didn't sell very well. But
Yeah, so this episode is sponsored by our friend Mitch, who was very happy to donate this chip to our to our cause. So
nice, thanks, Mitch. My friend's always trying to trip me up with some shit.
And I figured, what better time to take it than on the podcast?
I love all the warning labels. Serving size: 1 chip, 6 grams, 25 calories. That's a lot of calories for a chip.
That's kind of what I said.
Oh, it's a blue corn chip. Sweet. My fucking favorite. Sunflower oil. Yeah, here's the ingredients. Blue corn, sunflower oil, Carolina Reaper pepper, scorpion chili pepper, and sea salt. Dope. It wasn't
Well,
like hot.
this is probably gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you, but I'll do it
for sure.
I'll do it for the content. I don't give a shit. But yeah, like Tyler, I've told this story before on the podcast where he was in Mexico just like eating these spicy peppers, and even the Mexicans were like,
Habaneros,
"Bro, what are you doing?" Like
raw dog and habaneros.
Yeah.
Okay, so the challenge on here, which I am not into because, well, I'll just read it. How long can you last before getting owned? In brackets, eating or drinking anything.
Yeah, I got eat the entire chip, wait as long as possible before drinking or eating anything, and then post your reaction on social media. That's what I got for the challenge.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna not drink. Like, that's... Are you kidding me?
I don't think it's gonna be that bad.
And also, to be fair, what we're drinking will not help.
Got a thing of water right there for you.
It doesn't really help.
Well, grab the water anyway. Okay, I'll grab it.
I can say you can have the water. I'm just saying, like, beer, water, that doesn't help the spice. Like, you need milk.
They did like
That's like the only thing that does anything.
No, they did like a study, and milk doesn't actually help. It's all psychosomatic. The only thing that actually helps is just time.
I thought it was like the fat.
I don't know. I watched the Vsauce video where they experimented, and there's like actually nothing going on chemically in milk.
So this is like a normal sized chip.
Yeah,
Okay,
it seems
cool.
to be like a Dorito size. I think we should just do it. I think we should just go for it. We're
Fuck it.
hyping
We're
it up.
just talking about it. Fuck it.
I guess I'll try to open it without fucking it up.
Yeah, and don't touch your goddamn face, okay?
Or your balls.
The rip things at the bottom here.
Okay, so welcome back. We had to do some emotional prep work there.
I'm a little hyped up right now.
Yeah. So we're going to do the Pac-Wee one chip challenge, Carolina Reaper Scorpion Pepper challenge. Well, we're not actually going to do the challenge. We're going to drink immediately afterwards, but we're going to do it and then continue to podcast. Is kind of the thing. So this is the spiciest chip ever made, as they advertise it, and we're going to eat it, and then we're going to continue podcasting.
I wonder.
So, thanks for listening, everybody. Yeah, continue.
I wonder how this would fare against our local Little Bones wings maker.
Yeah, I did their like top 3 or something, and it was
they're
brutal, but it was fine.
The top 2 you can only get in store.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, it's like it's just called death.
Yeah. Well, because like here's something about hot sauces. The top few on their thing is like they start using extracts.
Yeah.
Which apparently in the hot sauce community, that's like kind of a
It's sacrilege.
taboo. It's like, oh, fuck off. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, of course, if you take water out of capsaicin, you can make it spicier.
Yeah.
But like part of the challenge is getting something so spicy, like naturally.
Yeah, they're using like a jalokia pepper sauce, and then they dust it with like ghost pepper flakes.
Yeah. But it's like actually getting the pepper that hot
Yeah.
is like the challenge, right?
Yeah. And then putting it on a hot piece of chicken. Mmm.
Okay, so we may as well
Fuck it.
get it done. Okay.
Rest in peace,
Cheers.
assholes. Talking about our assholes. It's definitely stale. Yeah, it's hitting right on the front.
I tried to like swallow it as fast as possible. It was stale, definitely. Thanks, Mitch. So, welcome back to the episode 114 of Alcohol Beyond This Point, the podcast where we debate business topics,
Hot,
both
hot.
sober and drunk, to see if we come to the same conclusions. Continue. Take it away, Tyler.
You're not gonna make it, buddy.
I'll be fine.
Woo! So, right now I'm feeling it mostly on the tongue. It's working its way back. Oh, there comes the hiccups. Woo!
So what do you think of this, like, gimmick, this marketing gimmick of, like, hurting your customers?
I mean, I do it with pleasure.
But it kind of goes, like, in that whole realm of, like, man versus food kind of things, like the food challenges, like
Yeah.
where you eat this much food at a restaurant, you get it free.
Yeah.
So what do you think of, like, stuff like that? This is a business podcast, after all.
I mean, I wish you could do it with alcohol. Drink yourself to death. That'd be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, for those of you listening who don't know, I own a winery, and I'd love to do, like, drink 50 glasses and get it free.
But the government would punish you.
Yeah. So what do you think about stuff like that? Like where you're like, I guess it's almost like a primal brain thing, right? Where you're like challenging people.
Well, it's machismo, right?
Yeah.
I can feel it in my gut.
Yeah, me too.
Whew.
You're giving me nothing here. Come on.
Sorry, man. I'm just processing this. Water's almost making it worse. So, fun story. One of the first times I was out with my girlfriend's friends was at a social. I had these little bonus wings. And of course, I was drinking, having a good time, already a little red-faced, hot from dancing. And I go sit down, have these wings, and I look like Willows does right now.
I look fine, to be fair.
Fucking red-faced, tears running down my face, and I'm just like shoveling these things in my mouth. And Carly's friend comes up to me. She's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "You don't look okay." I'm like, "I'm great, having a good time." Just shoveling them in. And I'm like, "Yep, I am genuinely enjoying this," because like when you get a hot pepper like this, it gets hot, obviously, but it doesn't get worse. It just like gets to that point.
Yeah, I've
and it
heard like Sean
maintains.
Evans on Hot Ones say like it has a half-life. Like right now is the worst it's ever going to be. And that's comforting.
Right. But if you continue eating, it doesn't get hotter.
Okay.
It just stays at that level.
Because is there science? Like, I assume there's science, but like, do you know the science?
I just know that it's a chemical that stimulates the same pain receptors that our body is constructed that detect heat.
Yeah, your mouth literally thinks it's on fire.
Yeah.
But I've read that like we like the spice because you get like all the good endorphins and adrenaline and stuff from pain.
Yeah.
But your body knows it's not actually in pain.
Yeah.
So that's why we like spice.
Yeah. Okay, now it's down to like this level of spice we're currently at. This is what's like pleasurable for me.
Yeah, you're a fucking psychopath.
I've also heard with spice, it's attributed to like just general pain tolerance and apparently high testosterone. Potentially.
What are you saying? I have low testosterone?
I don't think it's a direct correlation. But yeah, it's maybe a little bit above what's comfortable. But yeah, it's pretty fucking hot. Whew!
I think this is like, because like obviously I didn't pay for this. Like it was donated by our friend Mitch. But I assume this is expensive. It's probably like $20.
Especially shipped here.
For like one chip.
Yeah.
So like the economics on that, like the ROI on this for the manufacturer's got to be fucking huge.
Plus the media.
Well, and then right on the box, it's like tag us on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, it's brilliant. I love it. I fucking love this brand. So, I guess it also kind of makes me think of the those Instagram brands that go off of raffles, like buy merch to get entered.
Sure. Yeah.
Would give away like lifted trucks, cash.
You know it's illegal here to do a raffle?
Yes.
Looked into it.
Yeah.
You have to be a registered charity to do a raffle, as long as there's any money to entry.
Right.
Yeah. Which maybe you could get around it by being like, this isn't. It's just everyone who buys merch, which is separate.
You can do silent auctions, right?
Only if there's no. I don't know what doing it at like a social is like a separate license.
Yeah.
That's like allowed specifically, but you have to get LGCA approval to do it.
Same with like 50/50s.
Yeah, but you can't just like start a silent auction randomly. I don't.
Right. Yeah. No, I guess. Yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking of like those where they like have artwork and that quote unquote artwork in grocery stores, and you put in a sealed bid.
Apparently, they actually our liquor authority. Sorry, my nose is running a lot. Our liquor authority put out a post that was like, so I don't know if is Chase the Ace something somewhere other places or just here.
I have no idea.
I feel like I've never hear about it. So Chase the Ace, for those of you who don't know, is a thing that mostly bars will do, right? That's where I see it at least. Where you pay them, whatever it is, $10 to pick a card. And there's 52 cards on the wall. And as soon as you get like the Ace of Hearts, you win all the money in the pot.
Right.
But it's like, so one person can pick a week or a month or a day or whatever it is. And all the people that pay $10 get their name thrown in a hat. And they pick up a name, and that person picks for the week. And so the longer it gets before you find the Ace of Hearts or whatever, the bigger the pot gets.
Right.
Right. But our liquor board put out a warning being like, oh yeah, so we busted one of these Chase the Aces, and there was no Ace.
Nice.
So it's like, they're like, flip over all the fucking cards. And they did, and there was no Ace. So they, so that's something like, you know, the morality of the lottery notwithstanding, you gotta, because like I'm not exactly one that loves regulation, but maybe something like that should be regulated because you don't know if the house is cheating, right? It's like, you know, the stories where you go to like a mafia run casino and then they fucking cheat.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, thanks.
Yeah,
like,
the games are all tilted a little too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've debated this before of like, is it moral? Gambling and whatever.
I, for one, feel good now.
The roof of my mouth and my tongue are still like hot. And even
me
the
too.
heat of my breath
Yeah.
bouncing off the microphone is like
I'm feeling
hot.
that. I'm not feeling it in my stomach anymore, though.
I am
that
a little
might
bit.
change, though.
Yeah. You're gonna feel it tomorrow.
Because I haven't eaten anything today?
Yes. Oh, it's gonna be fucking terrifying. You're gonna have the worst shit of your life in the morning.
No, I think I'll be fine. I would not fuck with my stomach acid. It's 40 times more powerful than the regular man because of all the weird shit I eat.
Yeah, fair enough.
So we couldn't really talk, but I wanted to follow the thread of
yeah,
these like food challenges. Specifically, I was always fascinated with the ones like in store, where like I know there's this guy on YouTube, some British guy with a big beard that does a YouTube series where he goes to everyone in America. He just like drives to these wherever he can find a challenge. I guess there's a database somewhere.
Yeah.
And then so it's always like, eat fucking 60 pounds of wings in an hour and you get it free.
Yeah.
And he can do like all of them. And he's like not even big. He's like a skinny guy, but he's just
the
like
professional leaders always are. My favorite is this. Can't remember her name. Fucking 5'2", 105-pound Asian woman, and she can eat hot dogs like a motherfucker.
But her husband's happy.
The Glizzy Master.
The Rizzy Master, more like it. I always find it because like I guess you don't lose as much money on the free food than you get from people attempting and failing.
True.
Would be the idea.
Yeah.
Right. And if you did, then your challenge isn't hard enough.
Right.
Right. Or, but like something like this, if like, because I've seen like places have like a hot wing challenge.
Yeah.
Right. No one's gonna not be able to complete it. Like you're not gonna die from taking the hottest wing, like this chip, right? You could give this to anyone, even someone who can't handle spice.
Yeah.
And they'd fucking hate their life.
Yeah.
But like it wouldn't kill them, right? Like anyone could do it. So I guess like that, you're like, because like you would only, if you don't attempt it, it's not like, because like with the eating like a burgers or whatever, ribs or whatever challenge, if you don't complete it, you pay for the ribs.
Right.
So they make the money on that. But with like a hot wing challenge, people that don't like spice wouldn't even attempt it, so they wouldn't pay anything.
Right.
So there'd be like no incentive to have the other than marketing, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you're just going for people that like spicy shit.
But then, like anyone who like, is there anyone that like I guess you'd have to have like a no drinking water or milk for 30 minutes or something rule.
Right. That would be the challenge. Is how long
that would be
last.
the tap out or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And then you pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, some shit like that. You ever, you know, the place locally here, Vern's Pizza?
I've heard of it, never been.
Yeah, they have a challenge. If you finish, you can pick a friend, and if you can finish one of their pizzas in an hour, you get it free. I think
It's like table size or
or
something.
no, you get or you might even get money. You might get like $500 or something. No, it's a 15-inch pizza.
Okay.
But, I've had 2 slices of this pizza before, and it was one slice of this is roughly like eating a half-pound burger.
Why? 'Cause it's so much topping?
Yeah, it's probably like an inch thick of meat.
Oh, okay. Is it good?
And it's delicious.
Okay.
It's like an inch thick of meat, and then it's got fucking thick crust. It's got cheese, and then some vegetables on it. It's literally like eating if you go get like a corned beef sandwich, and it's just like a slab of beef, right?
Okay, yeah.
That's what the pizza's like.
Okay.
But imagine it's 15 inches of that.
Yeah.
And you got to eat it in an hour. It's like, that'd be, I don't fucking know how many calories it would be. Unbelievable. But, no, I think I bought 2 slices, and I got through like 1.5, and I was like, God, this is a lot.
You know how what's interesting is like the government would prevent me from doing a drink 10 glasses of wine in 10 minutes and get a free challenge.
Yeah.
But you can give someone 7,000 calories of fucking corned beef.
Yeah.
And clog their arteries and kill them. That's fine.
The slow death.
No one cares. But the alcohol, now we're talking.
I mean, you can get alcohol poisoning. You can't get corned beef poisoning.
I guess, yeah. You won't like induce a heart attack immediately, right?
You will eventually.
Have you seen that heart attack grill in Vegas?
Yeah, my mom went there.
Free if you're over 400 pounds or something.
Yeah.
And there's like a big scale outside.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then all the waitresses are dressed as nurses.
Yeah.
Like sexy nurses, and it's like I saw a TikTok the other day that these people went there, and this like petite girl goes on the scale, and her friend's like off to the side puts his foot on it, so she's like 40 pounds more than she actually is, and she's like, "What? This is like," it's funny.
Gets fucking triggered.
But
yeah, my mom went there. She fucking loved it. She said it was an amazing experience. She sent me pictures of the menu, and yeah, it was quite funny.
Yeah, it's all like triple coronary,
Yeah.
like double coronary is 2 patties, like whatever.
Yeah.
It's such an interesting, like,
I like the gimmick of like that the Karen cafe where they
Yeah.
just like they just fucking yell at you and disrespect you the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. There's that.
And
Yeah.
TikToks of people taking like their grandmother there without explaining to them what's going on.
Yeah. The restaurant where they're able, they're allowed to be mean to you is pretty funny. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how you have to get on nowadays, right? Right? Like everyone can have fucking good food.
Yeah.
But it's hard to like have a good gimmick that people come back to, right?
But let me ask you this: would you go to that Karen cafe regularly?
Well, I probably wouldn't myself, but like a lot of people are fucking weird.
I could see like if they serve like pretty good drinks.
And just like
me and
chirping
you-
at the waitresses.
Yeah, me and you having that as like a regular spot.
Because they would chirp back at you, and that'd be
Right.
fun to do. Yeah, yeah. But like, okay, I'll like here. Have you ever been to Hooters? Hooters? Yeah.
Once.
Okay, I've never been. I have no
should
interest
go.
in going. I'd go. I just like it.
Like I just want to see what's going
I've
on
heard
in
it's
there.
shitty food,
Yeah, it's not great.
and it's kind of like weird. Like I don't know.
Yeah, it is. It is a little weird, but I mean, it's like it's like the it's like Mount Rushmore. It's
But
kind
here's
of
the-
stupid, but
No,
you
but
gotta see
here's
it.
the thing I was gonna say though is I know people that go there like every day for lunch.
Right.
And it's like, so when you're asking me, like, would I go to the Karen Cafe every day? I'd be like, no. But then also, I wouldn't go to fucking Hooters every day. And obviously, people do that.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, I don't know. It's
It's a lot more sad here because it's I don't know. I don't think it gets like as that busy.
yeah. Well, there's just
And
the
the-
one, right, on by my office.
Yeah, and it used to be across the street from like the old stadium, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like right near it.
Oh, right, yeah.
and now
yeah.
it's
the old
super
football stadium.
Yeah, and now it's super far from everything.
Yeah.
And the people that go there are just like I just don't think there's a lot of traffic. Whenever I was there, it was like 80% empty, and it just seemed a little bit sad.
Because I'm like,
When it's full and bumping, like it seems it's a little bit more interesting, but
now, before I say I'm okay with objectifying women, I'm more or less okay if women want to be objectified for money.
nobody's
Like, I
going
have
into
no-
that interview and being surprised
Yeah,
with the outcome.
that's what I mean. Because like if you get a job at a restaurant, I was gonna name a chain but decided not to, like a steakhouse, right?
Right,
And then you get hired, and then the manager's like, "Hey, maybe hike that skirt up a bit."
right.
That's probably sexual harassment,
Yeah, that's shitty.
you know. But you know, no one's going to an interview with Hooters and being like, "Oh, I didn't know I was going to be objectified."
Right.
It's like they fucking have an idea.
Yeah, and they're
right?
making hundreds of dollars a night in tips.
You'd hope.
Yeah.
You'd hope.
Well,
So-
not in Winnipeg, but
Maybe, yeah.
Not
one,
here.
No one fucking tips here, but it's like I'm on we're on delivery apps, my wine, and I see the orders, and like half them tip.
yeah.
And to be fair, I've heard people like don't like to tip through the app because they just tip in cash because they think the app doesn't take a percentage of the tips, but they think it does.
Yeah. Because it's been known to happen with other.
Yeah, so they like paying
Companies.
cash, but then they get worse service.
Right.
Like their order never gets picked up because the drivers dump it because there's no tip because they don't make as much money per order.
Right.
So I have fucking orders. I'll have like get an order like 5:00, get 6 more orders that come and go in over an hour, and have that one sitting there.
Right.
And then I'm like, no tip, check it. Yeah, no tip, surely.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like one bottle, so it's like they're making $3 delivery and no tip. It's like fucking not even worth the gas.
Yeah.
So, fucking I don't know. People are people are weird. That's a generational thing too, I think.
Yes,
Like I just auto tip like 20%. Like fuck it.
Like, why is it a generational thing though? Because it's like the boomers like made it happen.
But if I've never been no tipped in my bar, it's always like they're over 60.
Right.
Never have I had a under 30 not tip me.
Yeah. Because back in their day, you could make enough money with your wages.
When I think it's a lot of like they think that like you have to go up and beyond to earn your
Right.
earn
Like
your
I
tip.
gotta be impressed.
Yeah, the only
That's honestly, yeah, that's true. That's kind of how I was raised. Is like if it was like exceptional service, you would tip.
Yeah, the only time I wouldn't tip, like I'm the opposite way. Like if I don't tip, it's because the service was awful.
Right.
But I tip by default.
Right.
I'm kind of like the same where I would never write. I don't really write 1-star reviews. I just write 5-star reviews. I guess that's the
Right.
opposite. But like that's just like I don't know.
Yeah, like competent. Yeah, reward competency.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's another thing that's fucking annoying is people that want like you should smile more. It's like,
Yeah, if you had smiled more, I would have given you more tips. Yeah.
son. Yeah, no. Luckily, I don't have to deal with that shit. I don't have to deal with a lot of people, which is fantastic. But
Yeah, I deal with a lot, like dealing with people's my entire job. So I deal less on like the service side. Like I have bartenders that are better than me, so they work in my bar. But I deal with a lot of customers like face to face at like farmers markets and stuff, right? So I don't know. Like generally, genuinely, both those things. My customers are really good. Like 99 out of 100 of them are very, very polite and respectful and great. But occasionally you'll get one that's not.
what do you think is the worst job to work?
For anyone?
In terms of
Service?
people.
Like dealing with people?
Where would you run into the worst people?
Because like probably the worst job is like what, like undersea fucking oil drilling, right?
Right. No,
like,
sorry. I
shit
should.
like that.
Well, I mean, maybe not, because you're making like $200,000 a month.
Yeah, but the reason why you're well compensated is because it's the worst.
Yeah,
fucking
you do
job.
it for 2.5 years and retire.
Yeah, if you don't die, right?
Yeah,
like,
but it's
I don't
also
know.
they're like every dive takes 2 years off your life.
Yeah,
Like,
and the like,
here
or
you
like
go.
working in a chemical plant where it's just like in the air or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah, there's
That'd be a
like
bad
true
job.
human suffering, but like
Yeah.
beyond that, I mean, like where do you think the worst of humanity, where it's like the armpit of customer service? What do you think that is?
Walmart.
I'd like
Probably pretty bad.
I'd like to hear it in the comments. Like Walmart is one that came to mind, is like night shift Walmart and
Yeah.
like,
Well, maybe night shift would be chill.
well,
Like whenever the Karens are shopping, I think is probably the worst.
I think Black Friday
Yeah.
in a fucking Walmart or Target.
I'm trying to think where people like where do people like complain the most? Like a Chili's, like a TGI
Yeah.
Fridays,
Yeah, call centers obviously,
call centers.
but that's like removed.
The government workers that have to deal with people, especially like billing.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're
Like
right.
when I went in to pay my water bill and they were they shut off my water because we owed them 37 cents or something insane.
Yeah,
'Cause- Oh god, I just coughed and then the hot came back.
nice.
It was like my bill was still in my old roommate's fucking name or something. And I had to, it was a miscommunication. They fucking cut off my water, so I had to go down there. And it's literally they're behind bulletproof glass.
Yeah,
And it says, there's like a sign on every 2 feet that says, like, do not verbally abuse government employees. And it's like,
yeah.
you know, it's like, do not attempt to physically touch anyone. Do not, like, all this shit. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Like,
What happened here?
but like,
Yeah,
basic-
anywhere that says that's probably a good indicator.
but like everybody in line that I was listening to was either frustrated would be the best case
Right.
scenario that I overheard. Some were like pretty angry. No one was like screaming, but like no one's like there because they're having a good day and they're like,
True.
you know, they're like, oh, they get to buy something now. Like, you know,
Yeah.
everyone there is dealing with some bullshit.
Yeah.
And the government is so incompetent that they're making it worse. And the person at the desk barely has any power to fix your problem.
Right. They're literally just taking your complaint, taking your
Yeah.
abuse.
So like
I wonder. Yeah, I bet the turnover is high on that. spot.
DMV,
Yeah.
CRA, collections, any of those things would probably be, you know how much you probably get fucking hung up on if you're like trying to collect money
Yeah, but that
or
getting
like verbally abused.
yeah, but that's the thing. Like phone calls suck, but it's all you're like removed.
And
Having
you-
someone in your face is, I think, a lot more intense.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Especially if and then if you're behind a desk, behind bulletproof glass, and you've got all this protection, that's great. But I'm sure there's got to be worse customer service where you're like literally standing face to face with people, which is where like I guess the Walmart
Yeah, probably like
comes into
Walmart
play.
just came to my mind, but I feel like I've never. Maybe in the States it's worse, but like I feel like it's fine. Like
Yeah, I mean you just get shot, right?
yeah, like I'm trying to think of like where do people come to like complain? Like what's that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the DMV
Yeah.
nobody's complaining because they're just too fucking tired. They've been waiting so long.
Because like 9 out of 10 people that come to Walmart are just shopping.
Right.
They're just trying to get their shit income. But like where do people go to like bitch?
Or to fuck shit up. I don't
Yeah.
know. Bodegas and liquor stores.
Have you seen that that girl on TikTok that's getting like pretty popular? That's like she's like a waitress and she's like crying every everyone?
No, I have not.
Okay, I'll send you a link. She's pretty funny. If I remember, I'll put the name on the screen. But yeah, she does these like it's like basically like POV like you're getting served at a restaurant things, but she's like crying in all of them, and it's always like really real situations that have happened. And it's like the one I just watched was like she's like, okay, what's that? You want your entree, or you want to just put her entree in first while you keep deciding? Okay, just remember if I do that, they won't come out at the same time. That's okay? Okay. And then she comes back and she's like, why did your food come out at different times? Like, you want to speak to my manager? And she's like, starts crying. And there's a bunch of those that are just like
shit that actually happened.
Or it's like, yeah, you can, no, happy hour only applies if you sit in the lounge. It's like, no, you want to keep sitting here? But there's a table just like this one. Oh, right over there, 10 feet away in the lounge. Like, yeah.
Like, I don't make the fucking rules.
Yeah, it's yeah. So she's pretty funny. I relate a lot doing customer service.
Yeah, I worked for a period of time with a person that just like really taught me a lot about dealing with people, I guess, and just like standing up for yourself, asking you what you want. But this person actually really took it too far a lot of the time and pushed into the be an asshole to get your way. And if you're an asshole for long enough and, you know, vigorously enough, you can get anything you want.
Vigorous Asshole, the name of my band in high school.
True. And for a little while, it was pretty entertaining. I was like, not entertaining, but it was what's the word for it? Empowering. Like, I'm like, oh, you can just be an asshole and get things that you don't really are entitled to, that you don't deserve. And it was like a period of time in my life where I was just an asshole. And then I realized, you know, hopefully or thankfully, not too far into this process, I'm like, oh, so everyone can be an asshole, but aren't because it's bad. Okay, like that sounds stupid and like really overly simplified, but I think a lot of people learn that you know, if they cry and whine and complain, they can get their way, but they never grow the fuck out of it. And you can tell those people that were spoiled as children, right? You can tell those people that never got told no, that, you know, maybe had a rich daddy that didn't pay attention to them, and then when they threw a fit, they got what they wanted, and now that's like their way that they handle.
Well, and the worst
right?
part of those people is that all their friends are also the same,
right?
So it's like,
yeah, I got no fucking patience for clients like that, and of which I get some. Like, my favorite one is I had this project, and it's like super complex, very custom, very difficult. Like, I put this one like 9 out of 10 difficulty out of stuff that I do. And this woman walks up to me on day one, and she's like, do you think that you can have all of this finished by tomorrow? It was like a 4-day job. And she's like, you think you could have this done by like 2 o'clock tomorrow? She's like, I have a dinner party, and I really don't want anyone, you know, I don't want anybody bumping into like materials. Like, we had a bunch of like big slabs laying around. She's like, I don't want anybody like breaking things, or, you know, no hazards. Like, I want this finished and cleaned up by tomorrow. And I'm sorry, that's impossible. Like, I can't do that. And she's like, oh, really? And just like gave me beef for quite a while, and acted pissed, and was just avoiding and giving me weird vibes all day. And yeah, we had a problem. From there on out, all the way until the end of the job, we had a fucking problem. And go ahead.
Cocktail shaker ASMR.
Yeah. What's the cocktail? It's just more hot sauce.
Yeah, so it's 3 parts Carolina Reaper.
Whatever you had at the bottom.
So just to stay on the theme today of destroying our guts, this is just tequila. 3 different kinds of tequila.
Brilliant.
And with a splash of Malibu rum for color.
But yeah, my favorite comment was I went and told one of my guys, or no, he was standing there, and like, as whatever, when she left the room, he has zero fucking patience for rich people. And he looks at me, he's like, oh, you have a dinner party? Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. Let me just call my children and tell them to get fucked, and I'll just stay here all night and fix your fucking shower. And he just like goes off for like 5 minutes, and I'm just losing it.
I heard in my ear.
This guy just has no fucking patience. And I'm like, Ben, this is why we don't put you on customer service, but I love you, man. I fucking love you.
That's funny. So we're going to transfer here into the part of the show that you, the audience, can pick the shot that we take. And that segment is called Shot Collar. My mouth is not really burning anymore, but now my stomach hurts.
Yeah,
so,
no, my stomach's hurting a little bit too.
So great, we're going to chase this with tequila, and that'll make it better. But I shook it over ice, which you were actually the one that showed me about this, the magic of
yeah, and I learned it
over
from a very nice young man.
Because it just makes it taste like water.
Yep.
Like
you want to get real fucked.
Agave water, basically. So
Agave water.
So this episode is sponsored by Mitch for donating a hot chip, and thank you, Mitch, for sponsoring this episode.
And for buying one and not committing. Pretty good.
That splash of Malibu really helps.
Yep.
That was like a very cheap tequila, a cheap tequila, and a fine tequila.
How much fine tequila?
How much?
That's it. Okay. Yeah, no, that was fucking smooth.
There wasn't
Delicious.
enough of I was just trying to kill the other two bottles, so that's why I did that.
So, other interesting news. I swear this is business related. Do you see all the details of this libel suit that Trump just lost?
No, but I know the broad strokes that he sexually assaulted a woman.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Civil suit. Well, it's not allegedly. It's kind of final.
I guess. Yeah. I won't defend him, but apparently it was like, if you actually read it, the verdict, it was like, it wasn't really anything. It was just like, you owe her money though.
Well, that's the most they can do in a civil suit, though.
Okay.
Because
they can't find him criminally liable of anything.
No. For this kind of suit, for those who don't know, you just have to prove that it is more likely than not that it happened.
Right. Beyond a reasonable doubt.
No.
No.
Criminal is beyond a reasonable doubt. This civil is more likely than not. So it's a lower threshold, but the reason is because the statute of limitations, which doesn't exist up in our civilized country, Canada, she could not press criminal charges at this point in her life. But and the reason that she didn't, and this is what she was grilled on, this is like the only defense that Trump's lawyer had, because Trump didn't fucking show, was why didn't you report this to the police? Why didn't you do this earlier? Why didn't you scream for help? Why didn't you defend yourself if this was, real? All that same fucking bullshit that you hear from every rape case. And she basically explained, and her friends validated, that she called two of her friends, and this was a fairly well-known woman. Like, she was a celebrity, or not a celebrity, but a well-known writer at the time. Was like a columnist that did an advice column, which is why that he approached her. Saw her in like a fancy department store, like a Nordstrom's or whatever. And she was walking in, he was walking out, and he was like, hey, I need some advice on something. Can you come help me shop for something? Takes her up to like the lingerie section, basically gets into a fun little debate. She's having fun at this point because she's like, I'm giving Donald Trump advice. This is hilarious. And he wants to buy a little lingerie slip for a woman, he says. Quote, a woman.
What if it's for him?
No. Well,
how funny would that be? If he's like, well, there's nothing here in my size. I mean, her size.
Well, that's where this is going, actually.
Okay.
But he's like, for my girlfriend, and he's married at the time. And she's like, this is hilarious. I get to tell all my friends that, like, I helped Trump find lingerie. Like, whatever. She just thinks it's a meme. And he's like, he picks one out, and he's like, here, go try this on. And she's like, no, you try it on. And then he's like, absolutely not. He's like, I think it would look way better on you. She's like, no, I don't think so. I think it's your color. And they like keep going back and forth like this. And so they start going towards the change room. And she's convinced that she's going to get this guy to put this fucking thing on over his pants and look like an idiot. And she thought it would be funny. But as soon as they get to the change room area, he fucking shoves her against a wall, like throws his weight against her. And then, I'm not going to go into detail, but rapes her. You can listen to the depositions, whatever. It's all public. But
In like a Nordstrom's in broad
Yeah.
daylight.
no, it was like right before closing, like super quiet. Apparently, there was no staff in the area. Which, I mean, if you've been to a big department store, is fucking believable. Like I've wandered around stores for 20 minutes looking for an employee. But yeah, it was like a Tuesday evening or whatever. It was like a just slow day, whatever. And it was also brief. Like these things can be started and finished in 30 seconds, right? Super fast.
I'm going to stop myself from making a joke.
True. The funny part of the deposition when she was like, his penis was not long, and I wasn't sure whether or not it was like all the way in, and just like
Just to get that on the record.
made a bunch of penis jokes. Yeah, it was. She made sure to get a couple of those digs in, so good for her. But yeah, so she fought him off, whatever, hit him with her fucking purse, and he left, she left, and so she immediately called two of her friends, and these friends testified, and one of her friends is like, oh my god, that's terrible, you should call the police, and one of her other friends, who is a reporter, like, I don't know, like an evening news anchor or whatever, like another famous person, she tells her, and is like, I think I'm going to call 911 and make a report, and this person is like, don't. She's like, and this is back when Trump was, you know, the biggest his personality was. He was new. He was the big bad guy in the 90s, 96.
Bigger than when he was president of the United States?
Well, big in a different way. Big in New York, right? Big as it gets in New York. And he was known for being a bulldog, being litigious. Like, he was constantly in court. He was just firing people. He's a bulldog, right? That's what he was known for. And her reporter friend says he's got he's got hundreds of lawyers. Like, his life is lawyers. That's his bit, is he gets away with shit. Like, that's his whole fucking personality. That's his brand. If you accuse him of anything, he's going to destroy you in the press, and he's going to destroy you in court. You cannot afford this. This will ruin your fucking life. Don't say anything. And she takes the advice, and she doesn't say anything. And nothing happens for 20, 30 years, whatever, and until New York passes this, like, the opposite, I guess, of an amnesty window, a 1-year window when people can bring civil cases against for sexual assault and different things like that, like is outside of the statute of limitations, but just civil, not criminal. And she was actually a part of advocating for this law. Fair. At that point in her life, she fucking wanted to hold him accountable. And yeah, it was like 3 minutes after midnight when this law passed, she filed her suit, and now it's finally resolving. So this was back in 2019 that this all started happening. Or no, and she also wrote about it in her book. That was the first time that she came out publicly, which is also fair, because if you're a rape survivor and you want to tell your story and not be snuffed and silenced or told that you're an idiot, and especially against a personality that's literally now the fucking president, you got to do it on the largest platform possible, which was her book. So, like, it all makes sense logically. It's all consistent with what he said before, when, you know, the Access Hollywood tapes of how he talks about how he likes to treat women, blah blah blah. And there's, I don't know how many other testimonies, but, like, it's all very consistent. There's nothing, like, weird or fishy with this one. It's just the fucking culture. Like, if you watch, like, the Mad Men shows, it's something you can imagine just, like, being a norm. Like, this is just, he's like, yeah, you just grab them by the pussy, whatever. They let you do it because you're a star. It's fine. It is what it is. And then they deposed him. I don't know if you saw this clip. So in this case, they deposed Trump, and this is the only time that he actually appeared. He didn't show up to any of the hearings, and they actually didn't call a single witness, even though they had 20 listed, which is telling. So in the deposition, they're like, they played the Access Hollywood tape, and they're like, hey, so what's your comment on this? He's like, well, historically, it's true. He's like, if you're a star, you can do whatever you want with women, and nothing will happen to you. And he's like, it's not fortunate, it's not unfortunate, it is what it is. And his demeanor and whatever was, like, very dismissive and very cold, and all of this was played in the courtroom. And he wasn't there to defend himself. He didn't call a single character witness in his defense. They basically, their entire defense was just cross-examining, and all of their cross-examination was just the misogynist bullshit that I mentioned before. Why didn't you call the cops? Why didn't you scream? Why didn't you whatever? And yeah, he just fucking lost. And it was apparently only a couple hours long, which is basically the court equivalent of open shut, right? Couple hours of deliberation. They found him guilty on 3 counts of it was slander, sexual abuse, and one other thing. And the total was about $5 million. And yeah, it's just basic fucking civil suit. If this wasn't the president, it would be completely uninteresting, right?
Yeah, no one would be talking about it.
No one would give a fuck if this wasn't the president. Like, it would be completely uninteresting. People would maybe believe her, maybe not. But there's always fucking backlash against accusers. And we've talked about this before. Like, you and I have very fucking personal experience with this of, do you believe the accuser? And we always default to, yes, believe the accuser first until proven otherwise, because it's extremely fucking hard to say anything. And most of the time when someone says something, it takes a lot of courage and a lot of time to work up to that. And my general outlook on the world, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but for every accuser that goes through court and finds someone civilly liable and like wins a case, there's probably 10 more that didn't.
Probably 100 more.
Probably 100 more.
Yeah.
And that's publicly wow.
The fucking hot pepper.
The ones that have come forward
Yeah.
Since her book in 2019 that have said the similar stories. Like, there was a flight attendant that had a similar story, and they're all very, very similar pattern. I think it's more than 10. If there's more than 10 that have publicly backed this claim, and many of them are still actively interviewing, telling their stories, and have been consistent and hold up under scrutiny, there's probably another fucking 100. Like, especially with this guy tearing through New York since he was, like, what, in his 20s?
Yeah.
With Fred Trump as a father, a fucking Klansman. Like, it's entirely believable.
Don't slander the Ku Klux Klan like that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's entirely believable. And, like,
yeah.
all the defense, anybody that comes to Trump's defense, and the fact that he's like, I don't even know this woman. Who is this bitch? I've never heard of her. I didn't even know I was being sued. It's obviously bullshit. He was deposed. He was there. Like, he fucking knows.
Yeah, I saw him post on True Social or whatever.
And that
like, he didn't even know her.
Literally, that's what half of the money, half of that $5 million was because he has publicly made statements saying, I didn't know her. I don't know who this is. She's fucking lying. Half of the suit was for
defamation,
for slander and defamation.
Yeah.
Like, and then he immediately, his first response to the verdict is more defamation and slander. Like, fucking double down, I guess, dude. Like, I don't know, deny until death. Like, that's his strategy, and it always has been, and it fucking works.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy. Like, you like to believe that the world can hold people accountable.
No.
But bad behavior always wins out. Usually wins.
I guess just to stay morally consistent, I said this about the Tates.
Yeah.
If they get proven guilty, I will rescind my support of them. I guess I don't exactly consider myself a Trump supporter ever, but like,
yeah,
I think he's funny, and I think that he's exactly the president that America deserves.
Yeah,
and
in the scope of that, it's like people being really sad about the French being invaded, and sure, the French, the people, didn't deserve the invasion of the Nazis, but France, the state, if you look at their track record,
give me some karma here, right?
Before and after the invasion,
yeah,
they fucking deserved it. Like,
yeah.
They weren't any better or worse than the Nazis. They just lost that battle. Like,
yeah.
That's, you got to put it into
There's still
fucking
27
context,
African
right?
nations using the French franc as their currency.
Yeah, you got to put it into context. Like the Saudis that are sports washing and whitewashing all their shit. So here's an interesting like business ethics question, which is where I was kind of going with this, because I mean, he's found liable, which is like a very real thing for,
I guess
for businesses,
the
right?
people that didn't like him already thought he was a rapist, and the people that do like him won't believe this. So,
or they don't care.
So nothing's changed.
Or they don't think it matters. They think you should be able to do that to women or whatever.
Like, I kind of see that Just sorry, I won't even follow that.
Don't even follow that line of jokes.
Yeah.
No yucks there.
No.
But so let's say let's say there's someone like this that you could do business with, that you can make a lot of money with. Like,
yeah.
and this is a big thing with me and my current business partner. He's got a fucking radar for character that's a lot more sensitive than mine, and he's usually right. And it's always just a given. If someone gives us a bad vibe or someone's got a bad reputation, we will, I mean, if it's like, oh, he doesn't pay his trades, if he doesn't pay up, whatever, he's known for not doing that, we'll be like, okay, we need most of the money up front, and we'll do business with you. And if they don't agree to it, whatever, you walk. And if it's for other reasons, if it's character, if it's personal, if it's anything else, you just fucking walk away. You treat them like the third rail. You just stay far, far away. And that's just a given, but no, most people don't have that boiled into their business. Like, I guess maybe some people can't afford to, right? Do you refuse to do business with someone that you know to be a shitty person, but maybe can make you money?
Yeah.
Like, where do you draw that line? It's just business, baby.
I wish I had the courage to do that more.
Well, your customer is the government, so.
Yeah, but I have a lot of customers. Like, good example I think is there's this restaurant in Winnipeg. Shout out Tallest Poppy, and they had a thing that was like, we don't serve police officers or their families.
Right. And
that was just their stance. And it's like, I wish I had the courage to take a stance like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if I personally believe a group of people to be wrong, I would love to be able to, but it's like, I, as a small business owner, smaller than that, it's like, I couldn't take the potential backlash.
Yeah, you got boomers as clients, and
Yeah.
they watch the evening news, and they don't understand what that means.
Which is like, I didn't take a stance with COVID either, even though I had some strong opinions. It's like, I feel like my business, personally at least, isn't the...
Well, COVID also wasn't like a moral debate. That was just political fucking...
Well, but the people would say it was a moral debate. Right? Because
I guess there was some morality base, behind
like preventing somebody from working because they didn't get vaccinated, right? Someone could make the argument that that's a moral debate.
Yeah. Or are you pro-government overreach?
Yeah. But
literally no.
I have this podcast so I can get my political opinions out.
And clout.
But I think my business isn't a place to get my opinions out.
But does that extend to, like, would you do, let's say you remove Trump being a political figure. Let's say he was just a local guy. And maybe you can think of a few, use your imagination, of some local bar owners or whatever owners that do immoral shit and are involved, let's say in organized crime. Would you sell your wine to them? Like, I mean, if they bought it off the store that you sell it to, whatever, that's not you. But would you do let's say if you could, would you do a deal with them if it made you money?
It'd have to be a contextual thing. Like, I don't think I have any strong, because
Let's say someone that is known to be in organized crime and human trafficking.
Yeah, okay, maybe, yeah.
But they've got a lot of restaurants.
But then what? Do I say fuck you? I'm not doing business with you? Well, that's what I'm saying. Is
I would.
Then I get trafficked. I don't know.
Nah, I say go fuck yourself, dude.
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard when I'm every month I'm so close to going bankrupt.
Yeah, when you're in a position of comfort and plenty, it's easy to be principled. When you're in a position of need, you take what you can get.
Yes, that's a very eloquent way of saying it.
That's exactly and that's what a lot of shit comes down to. And what I always have to shake my head about is there's a lot of blue collar support for Trump.
Yeah.
Which is a weird, I'm still trying to nail, I know it's simpler than I'm making it, but I'm trying to really understand the cognitive dissonance here of a blue collar person supporting Trump when one of the things that he is most famous for is he fucks over every contractor that works with him. He doesn't pay. Like, he will hire immigrants, and then he won't pay them. He'll hire construction companies, and then he'll nickel and dime them to the end. He'll take them to court just so he can save 7% on his building costs. Like, he is historically brilliant at fucking over labor. And that's what he does. And yet he has blue collar support up and down because he says the right culture war fucking bullshit issues on the mic. Like, that's a level of like cognitive dissonance that's insane to me, because what matters more? The stuff that makes you angry or your livelihood?
But I guess like
your religion or your living?
It's not like the Democrats have given them any favors either,
right?
So it's
but
like
it just that's not the thing though. It's that's exactly. You're perfectly encapsulating the difference. Is like the Democrats didn't do shit for me. At least the Republicans are trying to cut taxes. What it could be simplified like that. It's not a binary.
Most people.
There's other Republicans. You could just not support that fucker, and you could have another Republican.
Most people are like one issue voters, though.
Exactly.
Right?
It's single issue voters, and everything's a binary. It's like, are you this or are you that? Are you a fucking commie or are you an American? Like, that's it. That's not the reality of the choice. There's plenty of good choices. It's like, if you look at the 335 million Americans, are Trump and Biden the best you can fucking do?
Have you ever met an American better?
Yes.
I haven't. They're kind of all bad. Sorry, just kidding, guys. I know you're 55% of our audience is American.
Yes, like, absolutely there's better. Like, I think everyone can be like, hell yeah, brother, and nod to this comment, but yeah, that's what I think about when I see a character like Trump, and I'm like, why? Like, I wouldn't do business with this guy. I wouldn't let him alone around my girlfriend. I wouldn't let him alone around my kids. I wouldn't let him alone around fucking anybody. I'd avoid him like the plague, and I would spend all of my social clout being like, stay the fuck away from that guy. He's going to ruin you. Because I already do so, and I've done so. When there's been people in my city that do shitty business, and I go out of my way to sewer their reputations, because you know what? It's not me. I'm not going around to sewer I'm going out of my way to do it, but I'm doing that because I care for the person I'm talking about, not because I care about the person I'm shitting on. Because I'm like, okay, I genuinely like you. You're a good person. Don't do business with this guy because he's gonna fuck you. Because you're a nice guy and you're not gonna see it coming, and he's gonna take advantage of that, and you're gonna be out 10 grand. So that's the kind of energy that people would put into and against a guy like Trump. But yet he nearly has the popular vote. Like, the fucking dissonance behind that is incredible. And like
George Carlin said, people always say politicians suck. Where do you think they come from? They come from American schools and American institutions and American jobs, American churches. This is the best we can do, folks.
On that note, let's take another fucking shot.
I think I might puke, but let's do it anyway.
You'll be alright. What is this?
Same thing.
Whew. Pray for me.
And on that note, my stomach has never felt worse on one of these podcasts. I think we should wrap it up here so I can curl up in the fetal position on the couch.
Dope.
So thank you for listening, audience. If you're new here, please follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever the thing that you follow people is. Give us a 5-star rating, would really help us out. And if you're listening on a place where you can comment, please comment where you're listening from. We're really curious and we really appreciate it. Thank you for listening to Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast. This has been one episode of 101.4 and the pepper.
Yep. And if you think we're pussies for drinking right after this chip, you're right. And that we could just end the debate right now in the comments. Buy one. Eat it. It's great. It's not even that hot.
Use coupon code Alcohol Beyond This Point to get
Chase
your
it
own.
down with a Clamato Caesar with extra hot sauce.
Ugh.
Can you imagine?
It'd be so thick.
Like your hair. Thanks, guys.
Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast.
This isn't two podcasters talking business. This is two business guys trying to podcast.